Please welcome the PussyCat Dolls.
What am I?
What is happening with the PussyCat Dolls?
How far am I willing to go for this absurdity? And those two little girls, they looked up, and the little one, she said, "Oh, Mom, she's a pussycat doll. I want to be her." And I just remember thinking, like, no way do you get to be this or want to be this. But I was broken. You're enslaved. Whatever you fear, you face your fear. My mom, one of my sisters went through a brutal rape when she was 13 years old. And it affected our family greatly, where my mom went into martial arts, and that was something that she took very seriously in training and learning the conditioning of it. I think a lot of it had to do with therapy for her. It was to be able to protect her girls as a single mother, feeling that she didn't. And so in that practice, a lot of it is about not being fearful and knowing before you get into a fight, where the fight ends, and that you're victorious before you get in the fight. So a lot of what my mother instilled in me was whatever you fear, you face your fear. It was a lot of moving, because my father was not present in the home, and it was abusive and hard. So there was a lot of moving, constantly moving, really rough childhood. My mom did not know about the abuse. I was a baby. I was 2 till I was 4 years old that this abuse took place in our family. The last encounter, he brought a friend. I shouldn't be here. If I had to really assess it all, I really shouldn't be here. I went through a period where I actually forgave them, and then I asked for God to forgive me for forgiving them, because it was really hard to do it. Teach me how to forgive. Teach me how to process this. Teach me how to remove this pain that's trying to take from me. You don't want deep-seated bitterness to root into your body. You know, even with the PussyCat Dolls, with Robin Anton, someone hurt her, and I pray for her. So it's not just oh, this is the accuser or this is the person. It goes deeper than that. So when I auditioned for the PussyCat Dolls, I didn't know anything other than, you know, Gwen Stefani had performed, and Christina Aguilera, and Pink. So all of these really big names had come in and worked with this burlesque group. I didn't really have a remnants of understanding the details of how this would all work, but I was excited to be a part of a collective of women, right? I wanted to be a Spice Girl. So in my head, I was like, I get to be a part of a collective of women. I really loved that. And the audition was hard. The audition was 5,000 girls that they then narrowed down to the top 5, and then from there into the top 3. Just from the dancing, it was 2,000 girls narrowed down to 200 on dancing alone. So if you couldn't dance, you were narrowed completely out. So I was just holding it together and trying to get through it. And then from the 200, then they started the auditions of the singing. So all of these really big names had come in and worked with this burlesque group. I didn't really have a remnants of understanding the details of how this would all work, but I was excited to be a part of a collective of women, right? I wanted to be a Spice Girl. So in my head, I was like, I get to be a part of a collective of women. I really loved that. You know, my spot in the morning, he shoves me into room 2, and in room 2 was Robin Anton, Jimmy Iovine, Ron Fair, and all of these mega behind the scenes, like capturing. So MTV is there, VH1 is there, Allure Magazine, Rolling Stone. It was like a collective of the who's who. I'm like really nervous. I start singing. I picked Alicia Keys' Fallen. At the time, I picked that song a cappella. And Ron Fair, excuse my French, he jumps up and he goes, "Halla effin' Lulia," right? Okay, so yeah. And I remember being like so confused when he said that. And he takes me over to the piano and he goes, "Someone who can sing," you know. And then from there, they narrowed down that 200 to 20 girls. And I was part of that top 20. And they handed us 2 sheets of paper that had a bunch of songs and a bunch of really well accomplished recording artists on there. And we were to go home and come back the next day. The next morning, and I remember going through the list of the musicians because it was 2 pages of names, and it was, you know, Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston and Christina Aguilera, and at the end of the second page was Celine Dion. And it was My Heart Will Go On. And I was like, well, Celine's a gymnast. You know, she's a gold medalist vocal gymnast. There's no touching Celine. She's so good. I picked her because I knew she was the hardest. I didn't even need to finish all of it. I remember I got halfway through when it's like that big part of You're Here, and I'm so excited because I'm gonna get to sing. And I remember Ron Fair stood up and he said, "Stop, stop, stop. I get it. I get it." And I was like, what does he get? What does he get? I was then narrowed down to the top 3. So now it was the top 5 was then brought into industry only invitation to perform. And the industry only I thought was like managers and producers and lawyers and the industry. And I remember I was the first one out. I remember I walk out and I kneel down, and as I'm kneeling down, I look down and I'm like, these are like really famous people. These are like superstars. It's like, it's Gwen, it's Bono, it's Eve, it's 50 Cent. Like, whoa, this is who's choosing us? Out of that, the top 5 got narrowed to the top 3. And that's when I joined the PussyCat Dolls. There were girls that were already a part of this dance group that then were removed to make room for the 3 of us that were coming in. So right away, it was not friendly, right? Because you had girls that were losing their friends for us to come into position. We didn't really realize that they were a family that was now being broken up to make room for us. And that created the dichotomy that began something that wasn't pleasant, yeah. I was excited because I got my dream now was coming into fruition. I'm a part of this mega group. We were going to be very successful. There was a lot of money being put into this. There were a lot of the best possible producers. You're not working with just some producers. You're working with the best producers, globally. We took it seriously. We were a team. Though we had separation in different ways, meaning like treated differently in different ways. You guys get to be on a plane, certain girls will get to be on a bus. That's not really fair. We worked through it as best as we could. I think had we all gotten together and been like, we're a fist, we could be really, really strong together, we would have done better. But we didn't know to do that, right? And I think that's part of the industry, which is to keep you separated, divide and conquer. We talked a lot about it. We talked a lot about what was this going to become? What was the plan? Were we, what were our dreams, we had a lot of conversations about like, where are we going? Where is this headed? Why are we dressed so scantily clad? Why are we feeling like we're fat? Why are we having eating disorders? Why? So I wouldn't eat. I'd go days without eating, or I would just eat a banana for the day, and I would be 8 hours of dance training. Because that's a lot of the conversations me and the women would have was, what did we eat? You know, don't eat too much. You're constantly monitored about what you eat, who you talk to, who you date. You're not allowed to date certain people. They're not team players. I remember I was not allowed to wear nude lipstick because I was told I looked too much like a playmate. I had to always wear red lips. There are times where I love nude lips and wearing a nice, beautiful pink lip, but I wasn't allowed to in the group. I was never allowed to wear a nude lip because I was told it wasn't pretty. You know, certain girls were not allowed to have their hair curly because it's not pretty. So everything is controlled. There was one incident, I remember it because I had my belly button ring, and I had it when I auditioned. I had it this whole time. So it's VH1 Fashion Rocks, and we're performing with Mark Almond from Soft Cell. We're performing Tainted Love, and I'm entering in again, and I had to wear pants because I was told I was fat. And so it was a full throttle in my face argument before I walked on stage about taking my belly button ring out. And you have to take it out. And it was like the control to get into your mind to control you. And I remember having to take it out. Scarlett Johansson, I have to give it up for. Have never talked to her since, but we were the same age, we were both 19. She saw the abuse and warned me. She told me to leave. She came in as a host for we had a bunch of shows, and she came in as a host. And I remember all the girls were fangirling her, and it was so funny. Everyone was fangirling her, wanting to sit beside her in the makeup chair. They were gonna get to spend time with her because it's like 3 or 4 hours in the makeup chair. And I was the one that, because I wasn't fangirling, I was so relaxed about it because I think I was just enamored with her confidence. She had this obscene level of confidence that I had not ever seen. I found that very fascinating considering I was the same age and I had all of these insecurities, some of which were my own, but most of them were seeds, bad seeds that were planted, and I was allowing them to grow. And I'm sitting beside her and we're getting our hair and makeup done, and she just turned to me and she said, "I don't like the way they talk to you." And I'm like, "Really?" And she's like, "Yeah, I wouldn't let anyone talk to me that way." She was so aware of how they spoke to me and that she wouldn't tolerate it. And I remember she said, "Yeah, I would never tolerate that. I don't think you should tolerate that. You should leave." And I remember just thinking like, wow, you know, so she gave me an awareness that it was beyond what I felt, that it was visible. I would be called fat in front of people that you're working with, like, and while you're naked, darn near. So you're like half naked and you're being told you're fat, and people are like, and it's like a huddle of people around you when these discussions are happening. So it's not just you and one person. It's a very public humiliation. When I had been told to abort my child, and I'm now performing on a very high level. I'm performing at Divas Live, you know, Patti LaBelle singing. I'm entering a stage with Tom Jones, with all the other PussyCat Dolls. It's a pinnacle moment. You have thousands in-house at MGM Grand in Vegas. You know, it's like 20 or 23,000 in-house, and then you're going out to 30 million households, you know, because it's on VH1 and MTV and everyone's gonna see this. You know, I'm coming through the audience And there's these two little girls. I really wish I could find these girls and if they remember this moment, but they were with their parents, and I'm waiting to sing, and I'm staged, and I was just told how fat I was as I'm losing my child, I'm hemorrhaging, I'm sick, and literally under the stage while I'm getting my pack put on me and my inner ears, I'm told, look how fat you are. I mean, you're just so fat. And mind you, you're losing your child, so you're like, well, I would be because I'm pregnant. This is absurd. And I get to the front of the stage, and Patti LaBelle is wailing on the stage, and it's like such a moment. Here's your dream. Here it is. And you worked really hard for everything. I mean, you even sacrificed your child for your dream. That's literally how I felt. So you feel horrible. You're like, what am I? How far am I willing to go for this absurdity that means nothing in the end? I mean, it really doesn't mean anything. And those two little girls, out of the mouths of babes, they looked up, and the little one, she said, oh, Mom, she's a pussycat doll. She was just so excited. And she looked at me the way I looked at the Spice Girls. She looked at me like, I want to be her. And I just remember thinking like, no way do you get to be this or want to be this if I can help it. I don't want you to be me. I look horrible right now from within. Maybe the outside is perfect. Maybe the outside looks really beautiful. But I was broken. I was completely broken. I was working for Satan full time, and working for self and glorifying self. But you want to do everything you can for the job. So you're not eating, you're starving yourself, you're getting abortions because that's what you do. You don't want to lose your job. And if you're not willing to do it, someone's better, someone's prettier, and someone's willing to do it. And there's no one to really bounce any discussion off of because you're embarrassed. You're embarrassed on all levels, and they've broken you down. You're enslaved. Using the word trafficked it's also a good connotation. It's not that you're physically constantly, though at times it can be, you get dropped off with a car service, and then, at the end of the night, oh, your car didn't show up. So-and-so is gonna take you home. And it's an executive, and you have to tell him you're not interested. And that goes on all the time. Though there were situations where I had to tell people no or push men off of me multiple times, not one or two times, many times, or told this is who you should date. Oh, you should write a letter to this one. I make sure he gets it. That's why I say it felt like a prostitution ring, because it kind of is. It's something that, and it's not like you're literally being prostituted, but you're being dangled into situations that are very unscrupulous and not has anything to do with the music. It has nothing to do with performing and connecting with your fans, but that's not everyone's journey. And so that's the thing, is it real? Yes. Are there good people? Yes. Right? And so, and I look at my road now and how hard it's taken. It's taken me so many years to get my mind right, even to trust people. Then there are those that are predators. They're just not interested in the profession of it. They use the profession as a guise to hide their vice, which is young girls or young boys. And it's a good way to hide, right? Because you can get almost anyone to do anything for their dream. And word gets around too. So this is the interesting thing. When I left, the great part of when you finally walk away is you'll take a meeting and so-and-so will say, oh, I heard you're the one that's singing. Oh, I heard you're the one that stood up for yourself and walked away. Oh, I heard you're the one that's not willing to be so-and-so's girlfriend. They get around, the word gets around that you're willing to do the work and make it about the work. And that's a good day when you start to realize that people are rooting for you that you don't know, right? That you never met, but they heard about the girl that did get away or the one that did stand up for herself. I would definitely say to a younger self, so if you're interested in this industry, know who you are. Don't expect the industry to define who you are. It won't. It will tell you a falsehood that isn't who you are. The confusion aspect of what's going on culturally is create confusion. Oh, this is what's gonna make you happy. This is who you are. It's actually curating young minds. That's what I did for a living. This is how you dress, this is how you speak, all of the things, this is who you become. And then it perpetrated belief systems into young women. Did we inspire Lady Gaga? She said it. PussyCat Dolls inspired me. Okay, so we inspired Lady Gaga, who then inspired who? Sam Smith, who then inspired who? Like, it's a trickle effect. So you have to be willing to know who you are and stand up for who you are. If I could talk to a younger me, it would be yourself. Don't conform to anything but who you know you are. Stand firm like Scarlett Johansson knew to say, I won't tolerate that. Are you gonna receive pushback? Probably. But more times than not, I think people treat you the way you allow them to. My first abortion, I was 16. I didn't tell anyone, just did it. And I thought, and I was signed to Capital at the time. Then at 19, I was told to get rid of it. And that was probably, when you're 16, you're so young. I didn't have anyone helping me, but 19, you know better, right? That led to so much abuse that I went through, not only on myself, but dating men who were physically abusive or verbally abusive, going through, because it really damages you. It damages your self-esteem. It damages because you don't think you're worthy. You don't think you're worthy of love. You don't think you're worthy of so many things, because how could you do this? And then you drink or do things that really aren't of you in order to deal with what you've chosen to do, right? So the devil doesn't just put bondage around you and sink you. He gives you each choice, and you choose another chain and another part of a link that then puts a whole chain of bondage around you. But by the age of 30, when I went through a rape, and that was a very real ex-boyfriend, I was intoxicated, it was not with any consent, became pregnant, and I wanted to keep the baby, and then being pressured to kill the baby. And having, again, no one came to me and said, oh, there are these organizations that help you with babies. And nobody, I didn't have any education. I really didn't. And so even though I left the dolls, I still was not working full time for the Lord. I knew God loved me, but it wasn't until after that abortion, now being really sad, being really depressed, going through so much, that's when the beginning of me giving my life to the Lord. I had to hit rock bottom. It was traumatic going through one abortion. 3 was horrific. When for me, the process where everything really shifted was I hit rock bottom. You have to hit rock bottom. You have to get to the point of you're ready to surrender. And that's because everything is not going the right way, right? Like last year I had a Job year, but I held on to the Lord for dear life. That's not the same as hitting rock bottom. Rock bottom is you're finally ready to surrender to God. You're finally ready to say, my way is not working. It's never worked and I'm miserable. So take me as my broken self and make me new. True redemption can't come without His grace. God does reveal to redeem. So anything that went on in the dark has to come to light. And so that's why the PussyCat Dolls story is coming forward now. That's why people are talking about abuse or situations now. They're talking about their abortions now. They're talking about things now because He's revealing to redeem you. He's revealing. So redemption comes with the confession. The enemy's done a really good job at keeping everything secret. Like it's a secret. It was such a secret. This one's a secret. That baby happened. It was a secret. This happened. It was a rape in the family. It's a secret. The molestation happened. It's a secret. It's really not, because that's just the enemy keeping you in bondage. It's repentance, confession, confessing of all sin. When you confess, it's no longer inside of you. You're saying, God, I did this. It's wrong. Confess, repent, I'm sorry. Forgive me, help me understand this, and then love, true love, and then he'll show you how to love yourself. I heard this from a pastor. She came and spoke at a local church in Hollywood, and she, had come from Australia. I remember being 16 years old at the time, and Britney Spears and Madonna had just kissed on VH1 or MTV VMAs. They just made out that the night before, and she spoke, and I remember she said, I believe there's someone here who will change the music industry for the better. And I remember thinking, she's talking about me. Like, I wasn't like, oh, that's another girl there. I was like, no, she's talking about me. Hi, I'm Kaya Jones, and Jesus changed my life because he redeemed my selfish ways, my wickedness, and I've been a recording artist majority of my life, working in the secular world, being a part of the PussyCat Dolls, having an abortion, actually multiple abortions, addictions, and all of that we dive into in this episode. And I'm very candid about what God has done in my life, taking me to Hebrew Bible College and changing me, completely changing me. I don't know what your walk is. I don't know what you've been through, but I do know that God reveals to redeem. And as we talk about this episode of redemption and how God can change you, literally change you to brand new, I just want to remind you that God is not finished with your life, and he is not finished with you. And with Jesus, your story is not done.